Welcome back to Cobbled Chaos. I've been eyeballing these Plymouths for a little bit, and I think I come up with a plan. First off, I did set this body on this frame. Supposedly this frame went with this body, and it does fit like a glove. In fact, where the body had roll cage mounts, there's a little notch welded on there. It's notched for one right there. That's where the tube for the front cage, and it's all along. So this body was on this chassis at some point with a cage. Yeah, and it's definitely a way better body than the other one. So I say the back isn't all rotted out or anything, and yeah, I had to put some cheaters on it to see what it looked like. But I think I'm going to go with this frame and this body. And I'll probably end up having to change the cross members and stuff in here. I'd rather do like a big tubular X or something in the middle, give it some more rigidity. I am glad that they did box all the inside frame rails. That saves me a little time. Yeah, these rails here may both get taken out. I'm not real sure yet. But yeah, and then this Mustang 2 stuff, I might just pick up some arms and spindles. They're pretty cheap, and just see if it works like crap. I can cut it all out later on and put a straight axle in it like I'd like. And this one over here, it's got one in it, and I don't know if this one, I may use this one. Maybe I'll see if some Speedway or Model A axle or something will go in here later. But we'll see how this does. It's in there and it's welded up, and yeah, I figure it's worth a shot for a couple bucks worth of parts. And then kind of the thought and kind of my process in which I do everything, I just kind of want to get this going. And so I've been talking about motors and everything, and somebody had a really good idea about a Mopar, maybe a 318 or something. But I'm thinking like some of the Grand Cherokees and stuff, I can get a fuel injected, kind of the Mopar version of an LS, or maybe even a newer Hemi or something like that. But I'm thinking for now, I think I am, since I have it, going to go ahead and stuff the old school Hemi and give it a home for a little bit. Yeah, this thing's been sitting here for several years, and I had it running. It's all rebuilt and everything, and I've had it running, but it's been 10 years. So I need to dig it out, check it out. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is kind of just get this car together and kind of rat rod to do. I don't want a rat rod. I want it to be more of a traditional build, but it's going to go in phases. So I'm thinking kind of for now, the debut will be kind of rat rod. It's not really going to be the big mile car. It'll just be, cruise around town or anything. I'm perfectly fine with a Hemi in it for that. I got friends with trailers or whatever. So if I have a problem and I'm fairly local, then it won't be too big a deal. And maybe run it with that thing for a year or something, 2 years, because eventually I'd like to chop it. I kind of want to do sections of it, like get it going as a car, then over the course of time, change it up to where eventually when it's all done, it'll be a really nice traditional, just custom. So, but that's kind of what I'm thinking with this, and it kind of allows me to do everything with some parts I have. I measured the rear end in this car, and it's 58 inches, and that's the same as like I can get a 8-inch Mustang rear end, or a Toyota, the newer like Toyota two-wheel drive trucks and everything. They're 58 inches. You can get them disc brakes or big drums. They're 5 on 4.5. So yeah, that's a good option for this. It's not a big high horsepower tire fryer. I want it to be it's going to have like some 716s on the rear, and just tall skinnies and just a cruiser. So, yeah, so I'm not too worried about big ponies and all that in this thing, but it'd sure be cool having that Hemi in there for a bit. And if it lasts, again, I don't mess with success. If that motor works and it's driving me around and doing what I need to do, I will keep it in there. But, yeah, we'll just play it by ear. But for now, that's kind of the plan. This frame seems decent enough. Everything on it seems like it's pretty much like ready to kind of slap together. So setting the body on the frame kind of got me inspired. I'm pretty much, man, I can just slip the motor in, throw some axles in this thing, and we'll be driving in a week. But it never works that quick. But you know what I mean. So, and as far as this other one, I think I think I'm just going to take it outside. I was going to pull the seat and all the stuff out of it, but until I get motor and tranny and everything in this one, I don't know how much it starts filling up pretty quick in there when you start getting trannies. So I don't know if this seat frame and everything will work. I'd like to kind of have it when you look in there, you know, maybe I'll use the seat backs and have to do my own kind of, you know, maybe a bench bucket kind of a combo wherever the tranny tunnel goes through there. But I'd like to run the original backs and try and keep it to where when you look in there, it still looks kind of like an old Plymouth, you know. But yeah, I think this one's going to get booted out. I may go ahead and pull this axle out of the front and just strip off a few trinkets that I need, but I'll probably just leave everything for the most part in it. And if I need it, I can go out and get it. But it's going to be a while before I get floor pans and motors and all the junk mocked up in this thing before I'll need the smaller pieces, and I definitely don't need this plugging up my shop. So yeah, it's gonna go out. And this one, again, I'm not starting it yet. I'm just kind of accumulating and getting ideas. So I want to get the Le Mans done and everything, but it's definitely been on my mind. So stay tuned to see what happens. So before booting this one out, I went ahead and well, I tried tools, tried a cutter or cut off wheel, and resorted to the old torch. But I did take the running boards off of this. They're pretty toasted, as you can tell by the pile of rust on the floor. But I kind of figure, you know, worst case, they're templates, or I'll look and see if I can find any on the old eBay or something. But these things are pretty much just toast. If anything, they're a template for some new ones I can build. But yeah. But that's, I think everything else I'm going to leave in this car because it's contained. It's all, I know where it's at. You know, I thought about pulling the seat apart, but it's there and it's about as safe in there as it will be anywhere else. And so, yeah, this thing dangling from my cherry picker is about to go outside. Alrighty, running boards are off. I pulled the car dolly out from underneath it, so it is ready to go out the door. Yeah, I'll just stuff it out there, and if I need parts, I'll go get them. So I did go ahead and put the dolly underneath this one back here. So now it's mobile, and this thing sure makes it handy. You can pretty much just grab it and she'll just roll all over the place. So yeah, I can shove it over in a corner, move it around. It's not totally a dead horse in my way all the time. So yeah, it worked out really good, and now I can start. I see why this is so flimsy. Like when they put the cage in right there, they cut this little bit of structure in here, so everything's been kind of moving around. So I can get the rails bolted down along on the frame, and then start kind of squaring this body up, maybe throw some bracing in it, get some doors on it, see how the door gaps are. Get all that done before I start building floor and stuff, because I want the body as clean or straight as I can be. So yeah, that's pretty much my first stage with this thing. So but yeah, and then I think this weekend I'll be buttoning up the trunk in the Le Mans, and I think tomorrow night I had my torch out. It's sitting here ready to blast some spring pads off this 8.8, and that's for the Falcon. So I figured get those cut off, and then one of these days it'll be ready to jam into the Falcon when I get a wild hair. So that's about it, and say hasta la vista to this one, and we'll see you guys on the next round.